Who is in this game? I just want to see. Cure versus Rogue? A rematch? Alright, one more. It is, in the bottom right, the Gatekeeper Terran. The best of the rest. It is Cure. And in the top left, the Blizzcon champion, falling to Cure in the initial series of this group, but fought his way back and is now fighting to get through the Base Trade TV Star League Group C. It's Rogue. The Cinderella story. And we're on Neon Violet Square, which is one of the most, I use this word in quotes, but interesting maps, in that it is very difficult to put together an attack on your opponent that isn't, I'm not going to say all in, but it takes a lot of commitment. The rush distance is long, the pathing is difficult, so if you're going to put together an attack, you are pretty committed to that idea. It's very easy to see it moving out, and at the same time, on the other hand, on the other foot. Defensively, if you're set up well, it's very difficult to attack in. You get almost a free 4 or 5 bases if you play your cards right. But we did see Cure beat Rogue with a high-powered mech style. Not a late game or end game mech, but just that not quite battle mech where you see cyclones and hellbats, but just a strong mech push. And always able to figure out what tech Rogue was going for and deal with it. Now, will we see that again here on Neon Violet Square? I'm not sure. Alright, the SCV will get a scout out. He'll realize the pull is done, speed is on the way. Gas has been mined. Which means the Marines need to tuck it close to the chest. And make sure that the command center is not delayed.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
Welcome back. 1 year. I have never seen anyone take down these rocks. In the over a month now of this map pool, I have never seen anyone take down these rocks. Rogue, blowing my mind right now. I mean, obviously, this is not the most exciting thing to ever happen in the history of StarCraft. But there you go. Alright, the Marines are making their way out. They find an Overlord in the squares. Speedlings are going to try to save it. The Overlord should go down in time, but the Speedlings should avenge it. Oh, but the Hellions come in, turning things around. Everybody lives, besides the Zerglings. What a turnaround. And most importantly of all of this, the rocks live. Alright. A starport on the way, a tech lab being built by the barracks. They'll probably hand it off, more than likely, to the starport. Now, what will come out of the starport, we don't know. He could get Cloak and get a Banshee. You really don't know what's going to come out of that starport. He's getting Cloak and a Banshee, but it could have been a Liberator, a Viking first, a Medevac, and then eventually a Banshee. You never know. But Rogue will scout it. He'll see the Cloak researching. And Rogue is actually taking that back base. Now, the reason you don't see this base taken very often is if you notice there are only 4 mineral patches, which means you have about half the potential mineral income of a normal base. In the back here, of course, you have 2 gas geysers, and if you're going to go for a very gas-heavy build, it is a little bit safer. Or if you're going to go for some sort of all-in. But that is the reason we see the forward base is more prioritized. Of course, you do want minerals, as many as possible on a frequent occasion. We do have a Spire on the way. On the other side? Wait, I'm not sure which other side I'm talking about now. A Liberator has completed. Did he not make a Banshee? He canceled the Banshee to make a Liberator? And canceled Cloak because it was scouted. Interesting. The Liberator, of course, doesn't require Cloak to be effective. And we have factories on the way. He's going to make it happen. The scan in the main catches the edge of the Spire. An important scout there. You can tell by the positioning, Rogue was trying to hide that. Hellbat's coming in from the left. A Liberator in from the right. Will take out a Queen, a couple drones, but be taken down itself. The Hellbats are moving in, though. There's not enough roaches to stop them. He goes back into Hellion mode looking for an opportunity, but the roaches will deny it. 5 drones went down in that roast. And it does look like we're shaping up for a longer game. Because the Spire will force basic anti-air here out of Cure, which means he can't move out very easily. Whereas at the same time, Rogue has no options to kill Cure. So right now, we're jockeying... Oh my god. Jockeying for position. We're trying to find an opportunity to get an advantage, but neither player really has found one, because the tech of Rogue was scouted, but the attack of Cure was mostly shut down. So right now, we have a handful, and by handful I mean 2 Mutalisks, whereas Cure has taken a third, and there's really nothing on the board right now that can actually go across the map and kill your opponent. Turrets were produced. It's only 2 mutas. Just to really confirm those turrets, Contaminate comes in. When was the last time you saw that? Alright. A Hive is on the way, almost alongside 1-1 upgrades. Alright, everybody, get your popcorn. Get your get some tea or something. Put the kettle on, I think is how you say it. Get maybe your Snuggie. Maybe go brush your teeth or something. Because I'm gonna be straight up. Shit ain't gonna happen for like 5 more minutes in this game, at the least. This is full late game. I take it back. Cure's not playing that, like, battle mech style. We are going all the way. This is the late game. As everybody's taking all the bases, they're going to max out. And I'm not sure either player will have an army that can fight the other. So, everybody, you got a couple minutes. Don't feel bad. There's a Hellion run by that should be shut down because it's on the creep. He scans, he sees potential drone roasts. Will not get any. Actually, the Hellions will get through. He doesn't have blue flame. 4 drones. 5, 6. Not critical damage, but not bad. He brings Sue back to 70. Dark chocolate Reese's? Do they have that? Is that a thing? But this is... Yeah, we're going late game. We've got Roach Hydra coming across. But once again, the tank count, until Vipers, there is no ability to attack this. You just simply cannot attack those tanks. Especially, they have superior upgrades to the Hydra. They're going to have superior upgrades to the Roach Hydra. A scan in the main. Nails down. He sees the second Spire being produced. He might have caught the edge of the Vipers. He saw the hive. The consumption begins. As Sue has spread his creep halfway across the map, which would have been most of the way across the map on most maps. Now, neither player is maxed out or has money in the bank yet, but that will change soon. We have 3 battery chargers. I mean, evolution chambers here, and these are entirely here to be consumed by the Vipers. An evolution chamber spine crawler wall will keep Hellions from running by. Sue has decided he doesn't want to fuck with this left side here, because the amount you have to run all the way around and back down in order to defend this side of bases. So, in general, it's just a fucking pain. But now we have Cure maxed out with 2-2. And he's ready to push. How many Vipers? 4 Vipers. 22 Roaches, 12 Hydralisks. The army supply is in favor of Cure, and this is a very strong tank count here. A Parasitic Bomb will help a little. Was I talking about Sue? Oh, it's Rogue. You know what? All Zergs look... I'm not racist, okay? All Zergs just look the same to me. The tank's in a very precarious position. The Vipers will consume as much energy as possible. And this is actually looking real dicey here. He needs to pull out those Thors if possible. Bring the tanks down. The blinding clouds will cover almost everything. He has plenty of energy on those Vipers. Another Thor, another tank, another one, another one. The Broodlords from the back. And Cure is getting rebuffed. He has taken out the base, but he has not taken this game. Do we have any more abducts? There come the Broodlords. He pulls the medevacs full of the tanks. Does he have any more pulls? No. They will boost away. But Sue... I mean, Rogue will halt. God damn it. The Zerg will hold to go full tasteless. Alright. But Cure will scan and realize there's a lot more work to do here. Trying to get rid of some of the creep. Get a beat on where those units are. He's trying to rebuild the wall. Unfortunately, the Hellions have already made it through. He will roast the Hydralisks. And be blasted. Cure, no ghosts, no liberators. We're just looking at that good old-fashioned mech. We've got Thors. We've got tanks. Hellbat. Vikings. Yeah, there are the Thors. I was wondering where the Thors went. But nothing special, nothing fancy. No ghosts, no ravens, no liberators, none of that shit. Old-fashioned, good Terran mech. Alright. And we're gonna battle it out. Now this got interesting. That's a lot of Broodlords. They have no upgrades for their Broodling strikes, but the Parasitic Bombs come out. Good splits. Does he have any more where that came from? A Parasitic Bomb on the left side as well. But the Thors, are they going to be enough to take it down? Big Parasitic Bomb on the left. Double bomb. And he's going to be able to take out a lot of the Vikings. But at the same time, the Broodlords are evaporating. Cure is losing his tank line. Whereas at the same time, the Broodlords have been blasted out of the sky. And it looks like a nearly even fight where the Vikings, a handful of Vikings will retreat. But all the Broodlords and many of the Hydralisks underneath are gone. In the midfield, they met to duel, and both players came home just barely. The Vikings are on the deck. Roaches will actually kill a couple of them. Several of them. But Cure will find himself with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases, including a gold, whereas Sue matches him. Another Hellion run by. You always have to look for that opportunity. Cure's at 82 SCVs against Sue, who's at 79 drones. Massive economies on either side. Thousands of minerals and gas every single minute. These units are tearing into each other. No puns intended. But who wins? There's so much space. You win a fight on your side, but going across the entire board is incredibly difficult. The Hydralisks are in position. Is there no high ground vision? He brings an Overlord. There is the creep, but these mech units are so cost-effective, but they're relatively immobile. Where at the same time, the Zerg units are difficult to position correctly, but if you get a good position, you get a surround, they can overwhelm. Sue and Rogue are now the same player. For the extent of this cast, if you hear Sue or Rogue, I am referring to your Zerg hero. Nobody knows. Alright, the Hellion run-bys continue, bringing him to a depressing 77 drones. As bases I didn't even remember existed are being taken and killed. At the same time, Cure, he's made his first couple Liberators ship weapons level 2 and flyer attacks level 1. Now, Broodlords, for those who don't know, have 2 attacks. They have their Broodling Strike, which does damage initially when you slap the Broodlings into your opponent. And then the Broodlings themselves benefit from melee attack and carapace upgrades. So there are 2 sets of upgrades that can affect Broodlords. The flyer attack allows him to do more burst damage, and of course, increases the damage of Corruptors and Mutalisks. So that's just the mechanic you're looking for there. The creep spread is being cleared out. A Spore Crawler line in the sand has been drawn here for Rogue. Rocks have been taken down on either side. But besides these rocks. And these ones. 3 more command centers on the way. It looks like Cure wants to throw away his SCVs and use mules to mine, so that way he has more supply for army. The Hydralisks will make their way across, and there's actually no units to stop them. He actually doesn't want Hydras anymore. That's what's happening. He wants to get rid of these Hydras, and this seems like a pretty good way to do it, because for some reason, there are no tanks here. Cure is forced to scramble back. He'll lose 2 command centers. The Hydralisk drive-by here is actually going to find itself some serious purchase. At the same time, tanks on the high ground killing drones, and a base maybe on the left side. That's a lot of Vikings. He's got 30 Vikings! Oh my god. 30 Vikings, 10 tanks, and 2 Liberators. I would argue this is too many Vikings. He has too many Vikings right now. He needs to calm down. He's getting more Vikings! Are you crazy? Both players with thousands of minerals and gas in the bank. +3 He's making 7 Vikings at a time! I know. 4 Hydralisks will deny and maybe kill this command center. More scans on either side. A Liberator gonna try to come in and maybe get some drone kills, and it might. It's in a good position. Scans across the board. Rogue, not yet pulling away the drones. He's bringing the Hydras up. God, those ship weapons are so good. The 2 Hydra hit squad on the high ground. Doing its best. as there are no signs. Like, that is too many Vikings. You've made too many Vikings. His army is pretty much mass Viking. This isn't fucking Scandinavia right now. It's not 1622, it's 2017. You can't just make Vikings. He'll counter the Broodlords, but there are still 23 Hydras to contend with. He has 42 goddamn Viking. I don't... You can't just do that. Here we go. The Vipers in the back. The Vikings from... The parasitic bombs all over everything. But the right side remains untouched. The Vipers are the next casualties. The Hydras are doing their best. Will the Broodlords survive? What? Cure, you goddamn idiot. You can't just make 42 Vikings. Meanwhile, this base has gone down. You don't make make some ghosts. I would have made 42 Vikings. I would have made a bunch of... This is what I would have done. And that's how I know it's wrong. Because I wouldn't make ghosts and ranged liberators and all of that. I would have made Vikings. And I would have said, you know what? We're going to battle it out. And I would have been in this scenario too. So I empathize with you, QR. But you fucked up. Scans once again, doing his best to inflict mild radioactive poisoning across most of the Zerg army. 7 more Broodlords are on the way now that he's killed approximately 4 dozen Vikings. There's another Hellion run by. As this game is seeming no closer to conclusion, though Rogue just took a convincing victory in the previous fight. But he does not seem to have a grip on the game itself. Now, I might turn it around. It does seem Rogue may have made too many Broodlords. 14 Broodlords is a lot of Broodlords. 83 SCVs. That's too many SCVs. You need to stop mining so much. He's got idle SCVs here. For some reason, this base isn't mined out yet. How does this end? Now, of course, Broodlords are pretty good counter to tanks. And all these tanks will be obliterated by the Broodling strikes, and he's striking them up. "23 minutes. But is there any anti-air counter? The Vikings will pre-split, but the Hydras... The parasitic bombs once again... doing terrible, terrible damage. A planetary with no minerals behind it. He does have high-sec auto-tracking and building armor, the classic Bronze League upgrades. And the Broodlords are pushing through. Cure is starting to run out of money. He's not maxed out. Has Sue done it? Has he done it? Has Cure refused to make units? This is a refusal here. No ghosts, no ranged liberators, and dare I say the word, battlecruisers. This may have been a game for battlecruisers. I'm not making... This may have been a battlecruiser game. There are very few and far between, but this may have been a battlecruiser game, but the Vikings are obviously just not cutting it. And now Cure has no money in the bank and no army that can effectively fight. The Broodlords come back and defend this base for the 3rd or 4th time. As Cure, I mean, he's still... this is still 126 supply of Terran army. If there are not parasitic bombs, this is still a deadly force. 3-3 Vikings and 3-3 tanks. The parasitic bombs are everything. Are the splits there? Do they matter? Is another question. Oh, God. The Corruptors are in front. 3-3 across the board. Parasitic bombs on all angles. But the numbers are not there. He doesn't have the stopping power. Cure will be wiped out of the sky and off the ground. And he has no gas. He's literally and figuratively and metaphorically out of gas. He can make Hellions. I expect 10 Hellions to go in production, and then he goes into GG. 9. I'm sorry. 9 Hellions. I'm not sure 9 Hellions are going to cut it against a dozen brutes. Cure has lost almost 20,000 more resources. He has fallen into the trap that many mech Terrans do. Lost almost as many units as a Zerg. And not with a bang, but with a whimper. Rogue and a battle of attrition will take the game. If there was ever a time for battle cruisers, this was the time. I would have gotten up. Just call me, and I'll go ahead. And, oh, let's see. All right. Is this the fleet? Yeah, I think we, well, maybe a couple days ago, but we needed you. On it. That was a battlecruiser game if I've ever seen one.